to allow the Washington Post to endorse Kamala Harris. Well, now he's come out and said, well, one, I don't believe endorsing her is going to help her win. And two, I'm actually hiring a bunch of conservative journalists. We need to be more balanced. We need to be more about telling the news and the truth and not getting caught in our echo chamber. And whining about things isn't successful, and complaining isn't a strategy. If we're going to survive in an industry that's lost credibility and feels very lopsided, we have to, do that by taking action to show both sides. What are your thoughts on him being open about that?
I thought it was a very strong op-ed that he wrote. It was one of those op-eds you look at, and if you're in the journalism business, you say, wow, I wish we'd had that. That was good. But I find all of this somewhat amusing, I have to say. I mean, just the utter meltdown within the Washington Post. You've had resignations. You've had this group of 20 Washington Post opinion writers voice their objection and talk about how they had a moral duty to call out Trump and endorse Kamala Harris. Here's the thing that I thought was most important about Jeff Bezos's op-ed that he ran. And by the way, a little tiny pitch, I have a newsletter that's coming out every week now on Wednesdays. I'm going to have a little item about this tomorrow in case anybody wants to look. But the most important point he made is endorsements don't matter, okay? And what he didn't say, but what he might have said is they really are little more these days than like a kind of vanity measure by journalists, to sort of prove their own bona fides or just to get their opinion out there. There was a really interesting analysis done by the Hill newspaper back in 2016, right before the election, looking at all the top newspapers in the country. 57 of them endorsed Hillary Clinton. 2 of them endorsed Donald Trump. And you can see what that got her, what that earned her. I mean, endorsements, they don't matter. The other thing is this is simply the Washington Post joining a trend of newspapers that are not endorsing anymore. By the way, my newspaper has not endorsed a presidential candidate since 1928. But Gannett, the largest newspaper owner in the country, just this week said none of its 200 newspapers are going to endorse anymore. That includes USA Today. 2 years ago, the second largest newspaper owner, Alden, said that its 200 organizations, which involve like the Chicago Tribune and the Denver Post, would not be endorsing in presidential races. Even the New York Times earlier this year said that while it will continue to